Namaskar, good morning. You are watching Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with Breakfast News. Let's begin the bulletin with the headlines. Central Sanskrit University's Bill 2019 among 4 bills in Rajya Sabha's listed business upper house to also take up discussion on functioning of 3 ministries. Lok Sabha slated to take up Mineral Laws Amendment Bill 2020 for consideration and passing. Preparations stepped up to combat coronavirus. Government directs universal screening at all air and sea ports, testing, isolation and quarantine facilities. Schools told to avoid large gatherings. IRDA tells insurance companies to cover coronavirus. Amalgamation of 10 state-run banks to create 4 larger lenders to come into effect from 1st of April. Cabinet decides to allow NRIs to invest up to 100% in Air India. Amendments in Companies Act also approved. In Nirbhaya case, Delhi court expected to deliver fresh date for execution of convicts. After rejection of Pawan Kumar's mercy plea by the president, all 4 convicts have exhausted all legal remedies to avoid execution. India takes on England in semi-finals of Women's T20 World Cup. Only team so far to have won all its matches. Australia to take on South Africa in the other semi-final. A look first at the legislative business in both the houses of the parliament today. The upper house will take up the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2019 for consideration and passing. The bill aims to provide for a medical education system that improves access to quality and affordable medical education and promote equitable and universal healthcare that makes medical services accessible to all the citizens. Union Minister Shripad Yesso Naik will move the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2019 aimed to ensure availability of adequate and high-quality homeopathy medical professionals. The House will also continue further discussion on the Central Sanskrit University's Bill 2019. The bill was introduced by HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank on Monday and is intended to convert 3 deemed to be Sanskrit universities into Central Sanskrit universities. And finally, the House will also take into consideration the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Amendment Bill 2019. The bill was passed by Rajya Sabha at its sitting held on 12th December 2019 and transmitted to Lok Sabha for concurrence. The Lok Sabha, at its sitting held on 11th of February 2020, passed the bill with amendments. Union Minister Arjun Munda will move the amendments made by Lok Sabha in the bill. Also listed in today's agenda is discussion on the working of the Ministry of Railways. The discussion will be raised by Trinamool Congress MP Derek O'Brien. A discussion on the working of the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises will be initiated by DMK MP Tiruchi Shiva, and BJP MP Bhupendra Yadav will raise another discussion on the working of the Ministry of Law and Justice. And Lok Sabha too is slated to take up a number of bills today. The Mineral Laws Amendment Bill 2020 is also listed for consideration and passing. The bill aims to further amend the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act 1957 and to amend the Coal Mines Special Provisions Act 2015. Also listed for consideration and passing is the Aircraft Amendment Bill 2020 to amend the Aircraft Act 1934. This bill will be moved by Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Second Amendment Bill 2019 is also listed for consideration and passing. The bill will be moved by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and aims to amend the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. The House will take up discussion and voting on the demands for grants under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for 2020-21. And for more details, we'll go across to our correspondent Kriti Mishra, who is joining us live from the Parliament premises. A very good morning, Kriti. A heavy legislative business is listed in the agenda of the upper house. How is the day expected to pan out in Rajya Sabha today?
Well, Smriti, for the last 3 days, we are witnessing disruptions in the upper house over the issue of Delhi violence. The opposition parties are insisting on immediate discussion. But remember, the government has said that it is ready for discussion. But in order to ensure normalcy and peace in the national capital, it is ready for discussion post-Holi. In fact, yesterday, also Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said that it is the responsibility of all sides to ensure that there is normalcy in the national capital. He also said that he will hold deliberations with all sides, including Leader of Opposition and Leader of the House, to ensure under what rules and under what procedure this particular discussion would take place in the House. Now, today also, important bills are listed to be taken up in the upper house, including the Central Sanskrit Universities bill that is for promoting and upgrading 3 deemed universities at central universities, and also 2 important bills are the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine and the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2019 that seeks to provide universal health coverage. These 2 bills are slated to be discussed together, and very importantly, discussion on the working of various ministries, including the Ministry of Social Justice, Ministry of Railways and Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, that is also slated to be taken up in the upper house. So let's hope that truce and peace prevails in the upper house so this important business could be transacted. Over to you, Smriti.
And how is the day expected to pan out in the Lok Sabha, Kriti?
Well, in the Lok Sabha as well, important bills are slated to be taken up, including the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Second Amendment Bill 2019. Remember, there were several official amendments moved to this particular act, and this was also approved by the Union Cabinet. This is very important for removing the ambiguities in the resolution process and also ensure that the resolution process becomes absolutely seamless. So this particular amendment will provide that the winner bidder will not be liable to pay the liabilities in case of offences that are committed prior to the procedure of resolution being commenced. So that is a very important amendment that would be taken up in the Lok Sabha today. And as you've mentioned, there's Aircraft Amendment Bill and also a discussion on the demands of ministries, including the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Tourism, as well as Health and Family Welfare. So very important day as far as the Lok Sabha is also concerned. Over to you, Smriti.
So important legislative business is listed on the agenda of both the houses of the Parliament. Thank you so much, Kriti, for joining us and giving us all those details from there in the Parliament. And Rajya Sabha could not transact business for the 3rd consecutive day on Wednesday as proceedings of the upper house began at 11 a.m. The opposition members protested and demanded discussion on the issue of Delhi violence. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu urged the members to maintain peace. He said the House can take up the discussion on the 11th of this month after Holi. The opposition parties, however, rejected the offer to hold discussion on the issue after Holi. The chairman made fervent appeals to the members to allow the House to function. As the opposition did not relent, Chairman adjourned the House till Thursday.
I have received some notices on the same issue, 267. I have not admitted, but I have given a serious thought what the members have observed the other day also, and then I will be discussing with the Leader of the House and Leader of the Opposition and others, and will decide the time under which rule this issue has to be taken up, and will take it up on 11th after Holi is over peacefully.
And as the opposition continued its protest over a discussion on Delhi violence issue in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu informed that 16 zero-hour mention was submitted, including one on coronavirus. But opposition stalled it. The chairman said children are currently taking the board exams and we do not want to stress them anymore.
Go through the reports today, the students who are writing examination. There may be peace, but there is a tension in the minds of the students also. They also expressed it openly and also keeping the present situation in mind. And we are seeing and we are not able to maintain peace here. And people coming to this.
And amid the din, the chair adjourned the House till 11 a.m. on Thursday.
You don't want discussion. There are a lot of issues. I have admitted 16 zero-hour mentions, including coronavirus. Other important issues. You don't want to discuss those issues. Please go to your seats. Please go to your seats. So, you have come decided not to allow the House, and you don't want discussion, very clear. So, the House is adjourned to meet at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Meanwhile, the Direct Tax Vivad Se Vishwas Bill 2020, which was introduced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in Lok Sabha on March 2nd, was passed on Wednesday amid noisy scenes. The bill aims to resolve 4.83 lakh direct tax cases worth 9.32 lakh crore rupees that are currently locked up in various appellate forums. Also in search and seizure operations, where the recovery is up to 5 crore rupees, this scheme can be availed once the bill is passed by the Parliament. Under the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme, taxpayers willing to settle disputes shall be allowed to complete waiver of interest and penalty if they pay the entire amount of tax in dispute by March 31st, 2020. Beyond this date, a 10% additional disputed tax shall have to be paid over and above the tax liability. Further, where arrears relate to disputed interest or penalty only, then 25% of the disputed penalty or interest shall have to be paid if the payment is made by March 31st, 2020, beyond which the same shall be enhanced to 30%. The Vivad Se Vishwas scheme would remain open till June 30th, 2020. And a bill which seeks to confer the status of institution of national importance to 5 Indian institutes of information technology was introduced in Lok Sabha. Minister of State for HRD, Sanjay Dhotre, introduced the bill when the House met at 2 p.m. after 2 adjournments. According to the IIIT's Laws Amendment Bill 2020, the 5 IIITs set up on a public-private partnership mode in Surat, Bhopal, Bhagalpur, Agartala and Raichur will now be able to use the nomenclature of a BTech or MTech or PhD degree. Once passed, the law will also enable the institutes to attract enough students required to develop a strong research base in the country in the field of information technology. And proceedings of Lok Sabha were adjourned for the day on Wednesday amid continuous protests by opposition parties over Delhi violence. The lower house witnessed repeated adjournments during the day. As soon as the Lok Sabha assembled for the day, opposition members started raising slogans in support of their demand for the discussion on Delhi violence. Seeking to pacify protesting members, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said the government was ready to have a full discussion on Delhi violence in the House on 11th of March after Holi. However, opposition members were reluctant to the suggestion and continued with their protest. This forced the adjournment of the House till noon. When the House reassembled, the scene was no different, leading to the second adjournment till 2 p.m. and later for the day.
After restoring the normalcy, 11 तारीख को लोकसभा में दिल्ली के जो अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट हुआ है, राइट हुआ है, उसके लिए चर्चा के लिए हम तैयार हैं। अभी होली भी आ रहे हैं, ये सब मद्देनजर रखते हुए हमने पूरा चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है 11th को लोकसभा में। और तब तक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ऑब्लिगेशन है, हमको बहुत बिल भी पारित करना है और सेंस ऑफ द हाउस है कि राज्यसभा चलना चाहिए। ये तो हाउस सेंस ऑफ द हाउस है। ये हमने 11th को चर्चा पूरा करने के लिए भारत सरकार तैयार है। ये तो हमने अपोजिशन लीडर को भी कहा है, लेकिन इन लोग सदन चलाना नहीं चाहते हैं। अगर वो सदन चर्चा चाहते हैं तो सदन चलाने दो। इतना ही मैं इनको कहता हूं। 11 तारीख को लोकसभा में और 12 तारीख को राज्यसभा में हम चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है, लेकिन ये चर्चा नहीं चाहते हैं, एक डिसरप्शन चाहते हैं, लोगों का समस्या का चर्चा वो नहीं चाहते हैं। मैं फिर से अपील कर रहा हूं कि आप कृपया सदन चलाने दो, हम चर्चा के लिए तैयार हैं।
And with that, we'll slip into a very quick breather. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back after the break. The Cabinet on Wednesday approved amalgamation of 10 public sector banks to create large 4 state-owned lenders with effect from 1st of April. Briefing media, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said Oriental Bank and United Bank of India will be merged into Punjab National Bank. She said amalgamation will enable creation of digitally driven consolidated banks with global heft and business synergies. These will be in addition to the State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda and Bank of India. Following the consolidation, there will be 7 large public sector banks and 5 smaller ones. There were as many as 27 PSBs in 2017.
The announcement which I had made earlier about amalgamation of public sector banks. In 2017, you had 27 banks. Now there will be 12 banks only. This announcement which we had made sometime in August 2019 involves amalgamating 10 banks into 4. So you have an Oriental Bank of Commerce and United Bank of India getting amalgamated into Punjab National Bank. Then you have Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank getting amalgamated into Union Bank of India. You have Syndicate Bank amalgamated into Canara Bank, and also Allahabad Bank amalgamated into Indian Bank.
The government also permitted NRIs to control up to 100% stake in disinvestment-bound Air India. The decision was taken in a meeting of the Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
आपको मालूम है कि एयर इंडिया का स्ट्रैटेजिक सेल होगा तो उसमें जो एनआरआई भारतीय नागरिक है उनको भी खरीद में अवसर मिले, इसके लिए बहुत बड़े निर्णय लिया है। पहले ये था कि पहले जो स्कीम थी उसके में एनआरआई केवल 49% ले सकते थे, अब वो 100% ले सकते हैं।
The Cabinet has also approved company's Second Amendment Act Bill 2019. Briefing reporters about the Cabinet decisions, Union Minister Prakash Javadekar said a proposal allowing the listing of Indian companies abroad has been approved.
मोदी सरकार के 5 साल में एफडीआई का जो काम हुआ है, इतने निर्णय हुए हैं कि दुनिया का एफडीआई में एक सबसे फेवरेट डेस्टिनेशन आज भारत बन गया है। और इसलिए पहले 14 साल में जितना हुआ उसका 75% केवल पिछले 5 साल में हुआ है।
Now the latest from Jammu and Kashmir, where the ban on social media has been removed, with the administration allowing access to all websites on Wednesday. The access has been allowed on 2G mobile data services and fixed-line internet in the Union Territory till March 17th. The fresh order was issued by Principal Secretary Home Shaleen Kabra after assessment of the impact of telecom services regulation on the overall security situation. Earlier, only access to white-listed sites was allowed as the service was restored for a week on January 25th and subsequently extended from time to time. The internet services were snapped on 5th of August last year when the centre abrogated the special status of Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370 and bifurcated it into 2 union territories. Delhi's Patiala House Court is likely to announce a fresh date for the execution of 4 convicts in the Nirbhaya case. The Delhi government moved the court on Wednesday seeking fresh date for the execution after President Ramnath Kovind rejected the mercy petition of Pawan Kumar Gupta. With this, all legal remedies of the convicts have been exhausted. The court had on Monday deferred till further order the hanging of the convicts that was scheduled for Tuesday. The execution of their death warrants has been deferred thrice so far due to delays by them in exhausting legal remedies. All the convicts in the case are to be hanged together. And now the news on the status of coronavirus situation. An employee of Paytm has tested positive for coronavirus, pushing the e-wallet company to shut its Gurgaon office for 2 days. Paytm, in a statement, said the infected staffer has recently returned from Italy, the worst-hit nation in Europe. The company has advised its employees to work from home for the next 2 days. This is the 29th case that tested positive in India. The figures took a leap after a group of 15 Italian tourists tested positive for the disease over the last 24 hours. They were a part of a group of 23 Italians which travelled to Rajasthan last month. This is the biggest group in the country to be infected with coronavirus. An Indian driver who was travelling with them has also tested positive. Meanwhile, the government on Wednesday has said that it has started screening passengers on all the incoming flights from abroad. After chairing an emergency meeting, Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan informed that over 5,89,000 people have been screened at 21 airports in 2 months, over 10 lakh screened at borders with Nepal, and around 27,000 are under community surveillance. The Union Health Ministry has issued an advisory for schools asking that large gatherings be avoided. Anyone, staff or student who has travelled to a COVID-19 country in the last 28 days should be home quarantined for 14 days. The advisory has mentioned this. Also, anyone with symptoms should be reported and should not return without doctor's advice. And Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister P.K. Mishra on Wednesday also chaired an interministerial meeting to review preparedness and response on the COVID-19 disease. The meeting emphasized on greater participation of the public sector, private sector and the community at large through a Jan Bhagidari approach. At the meeting, decision was also taken to introduce universal screening at all the international airports and seaports through the use of thermal imagery equipment and mandatory filling of declaration forms of places visited by tourists and travellers returning from abroad. In the meeting, decisions were also taken to rapidly implement opening of proper testing, isolation and quarantine facilities in various parts of the country, down to the district level in partnership with the state governments. Meanwhile, hundreds of Indians, including fishermen and students, are stranded in Iran, where coronavirus is spreading fast and nearly 1,000 are infected. The government on Wednesday said that if the Iranian government lent its support, a testing facility could be set up there to help bring back the Indians. And regulator IRDAI on Wednesday asked insurers to expeditiously settle hospitalization claims related to coronavirus disease under health policies. It also instructed insurance companies to come out with policies to cover treatment costs for coronavirus infection. And the Health Ministry has issued an advisory to avoid the spread of COVID-19. What it has said for do's and don'ts is that wash hands frequently with soap and water, clean your hands with alcohol-based hand rub, avoid touching your eyes, nose and mouth, cover your mouth and nose while coughing or sneezing, throw used tissues into clothespins. If you have fever, cough or difficulty in breathing, seek medical help immediately. Maintain social distancing. For the don'ts, the advisory suggests that don't come in close contact with anyone if you have fever or cough, don't spit in public, avoid contact with animals, don't eat raw, undercooked meat, don't travel to farms, live animal markets, or where animals are slaughtered. And Italy on Wednesday closed all schools and universities until March 15th as the number of deaths from the new coronavirus in the Mediterranean country hit 107. The number of cases there have crossed 3,000. Meanwhile, Iran has reported 92 deaths among its 2,922 confirmed cases, the most of any country except China. The country cancelled Friday prayers for the second week in a row. While in Iraq, a 70-year-old Muslim cleric died on Wednesday from the novel coronavirus, the first death from the outbreak in a country where 31 people have been infected. While in the US, the death toll from the new coronavirus rose to 11 on Wednesday as lawmakers in Congress agreed to provide more than $8 billion to fight the rapidly spreading disease. Hungary, on the other hand, has reported its first confirmed case of novel coronavirus on Wednesday, with 2 Iranians studying in the EU member state. Authorities there are making efforts to establish their travel history within the country and who they have been in contact with. South Korea, on the other hand, reported 435 new infections on Wednesday. A total of 5,621 people in South Korea have contracted the virus and 32 have died. And China reported 119 new cases on Wednesday, all but 5 in the outbreak's epicenter of Wuhan. However, in a sign of the shifting threat, Beijing's health commissioner said 2 new cases in the Chinese capital were apparently infected abroad in Iran and Italy. And sports news now, Indian women's cricket team is facing England today in the semi-final of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup in Sydney. The match that was supposed to begin at 9:30 a.m. has been delayed due to the rains. India, led by Harmanpreet Kaur, is looking to continue their unbeaten run in the group stages and making it to the summit clash. The second semi-final match is to be played between Australia and South Africa in Sydney at 1:30 p.m. today. And that's all we have for you in this edition. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.